morning. Welcome to 4A TV News. I am Afolabi Foluwa. First, the highlights. President Buhari condemns terrorist killing of 67 soldiers in Niger. Court sacks Oni's second in command, orders replacements. Electricity workers suspend nationwide strike. Paying minimum wage means respecting our laws, NLC tells governors. The news in details. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday condemned the terrorist attack in Init, western region of Niger Republic, near the Mali border, which resulted in the killing of 67 military personnel, with 34 people still unaccounted for. Expressing deep shock and sadness over the heinous and despicable attack by terrorists that reportedly crossed in from neighboring Mali, President Buhari expressed Nigeria's solidarity with the government and people of Niger Republic in the aftermath of the tragedy. Stressing Nigeria's strong condemnation of this terrorist act, President Buhari reaffirmed the resolve of his administration to continue working closely with countries neighboring the Sahel and the Sahara, as well as international partners, to defeat the roving terrorists creating havoc in the sub-region. An Osun State High Court on Wednesday sacked the Obalufe of Ife, Chief Idowu Adediwura, and directed the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi Ojaja II, to, within 21 days, fill the stool with a candidate from the Aga ruling house. Obalufe is a traditional Prime Minister of Ife and he is next to Oni in rank. Justice Foluke Awolalu of the Osun State High Court, sitting in Osogbo, in a judgment on the suit instituted by Abayomi Elubuji on behalf of himself and the Aga ruling house, held that the installation of Adediwura was not in accordance with the provisions of Ile Ife Chieftaincy Declaration of 1957. The court had earlier dismissed the preliminary objection filed by Adediwura, seeking that the matter be dismissed because there were similar cases already instituted on the same matter. On the merit of the case, the court held that going by the Ife Chieftaincy Declaration of 1957, it was the turn of Aga ruling house to produce Obalufe and not Agbabusekun, where Adediwura, that was eventually installed, hails from. The court also restrained Adediwura from parading himself as the Obalufe. Commenting on the matter, counsel for the plaintiff, Mr. Babafemi Akonde, described the judgment as sound and clear, adding that a chieftaincy declaration once registered had become the law. The National Union of Electricity Employees has suspended its nationwide strike. Eco Electricity Distribution Company made this known via its Twitter handle on Thursday. The electricity workers had, on Wednesday, shut down the headquarters of Ikeja Electric and Eco Electricity Distribution Company in Ikeja and Marina, Lagos. President of the NUE, Joe Ajaero, had, in a statement, accused the Bureau of Public Enterprise of failing to address and pay over 2,000 disengaged workers of the Power Holding Company of Nigeria since 2013. He alleged on the payment of severance of over 50,000 ex-PHCN staff and illegal transfer of schools built by the union to investors. He also accused GENCOs of refusing to sign conditions of service and rules of engagement, adding that some DISCOs were also denying the retirement benefits of some electricity workers. The leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress has reiterated that the national minimum wage law is binding on all, and the governors cannot pay below 30,000 naira. NLC President Dr. Ayuba Wahab said this is at a one-day review meeting on the new national minimum wage with State Council chairmen. He stressed the need for governors to ensure speedy conclusion of negotiation on implementation of the new wage act. Wahab said since the President Muhammadu Buhari signed the new minimum wage act to law, every state governor was bound to respect the new wage structure and negotiate with Labour to decide what the consequential increase should be. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, while briefing the State House correspondents, said the federal government had given December 31 as a deadline for payment of arrears on consequential adjustment of the national minimum wage. The Senate has said it will invite the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency (PPRA) to explain the whereabouts of the over 800 billion collected from the maintenance of roads across the country. President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawal, in a statement, stated that the funds meant to be remitted to the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency (FAMA) cannot be swept under the carpet. Lawal, in his concluding remarks on a bill for an act to repeal the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency Act 2002, Act to establish the Federal Road Authority Bill 2019, stressed that corruption is responsible for some of the challenges facing the road sector in Nigeria. According to the Senate President, previous effort by Nigeria to concession government enterprise failed. Meanwhile, sponsor of the bill, Senator Gerson Bassey, in his lead debate, decried the pressure exerted on Nigeria roads owing to the underdeveloped nature of other means of transportation. He stated that the bill, if passed into the law, would, amongst other things, promote the sustainable development and operation of the road sector and facilitate the government of competitive markets and the promotion of enabling environment for private sector participation in financing, maintenance, and improvement of roads in Nigeria. You're still watching 4A TV News, and right now, we'll be going on a commercial break. The news continues after this time out. Please stay tuned.
Who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
Welcome back. You're still watching 4A TV News. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has signed the Oyo State Anti-Corruption Bill 2019 into law. The bill, which was passed by the State House of Assembly last week, finally got approval and has become active with the assent given by the governor. Governor Makinde described the move as a signal of his readiness to enforce probity and accountability. Mr. Makinde, immediately after his assent, transferred the law to the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Professor Oyelowo Oyewo, for further administrative actions. The governor had, as a part of initial declaration upon assumption of office, declared that the state under his watch would establish its own anti-corruption agency to ensure probity, accountability, and good governance. While signing the bill into law, Governor Makinde said there is nothing to be scared of, as the anti-corruption law has been demonstrated to bring governance closer to the grassroots and guard the resources of the state in the same manner. Makinde added that the law has no political coloration, just as corruption and undergovernment have no political leanings. Ifeanyi Ejiofor, the leader counsel to the self-proclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has formally dragged the Nigeria police to the Federal High Court in Abuja. Ejiofor is suing the Nigeria police over an alleged invasion of his house and alleged killing of 4 occupants by operative of the force. In the legal action instituted on his behalf by his lawyer Maxwell Opara, Ejiofor is asking the court for an order to compel police to pay him the sum of 2 billion naira as compensation and damages for the burning of his house and alleged treating of his aged mother by the police at his home in Anambra State on December 2. He is also asking the court to restrain the police from further harassing. intimidating, threatening his life, and destroying his properties. He further applied for an order of the court stopping the respondents from threatening him with arrest and torture, and to compel them to retract the public notice made on December 3, which declared him wanted, and to also tender apology to him in 5 major newspapers and any other form of reparation. And now to the business news. President Muhammadu Buhari has said that he plans to curb smuggling activities through Nigeria's borders in a bid to rekindle the agriculture sector. For more on business news, let's join Ahmed Ayomide.
President Muhammadu Buhari has said that he plans to curb smuggling activities through Nigeria's border in a bid to rekindle the agriculture sector. President Buhari told the delegation of Katsina State Elders Forum, who paid him a visit at his country home in Daura, that the new directive will save the country billions of naira on import bills. A statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, added that just like the successes recorded from the border drill on rice and petroleum products, the interest of farmers must be protected. He told the delegation that he intends forging ahead with poverty alleviation schemes and the agricultural and livestock reforms which his administration started during the first term. President Buhari commended the actions taken by the President of Niger Republic, Muhammadu Yusufu, including the dismissal of officials and a ban on the use of the country as a dumping ground for Nigerian-bound smuggled goods, adding that the measures taken by the President of Niger were helpful and supportive. He acknowledged the hardship of border communities following the ban on sales of fuel at stations 20 kilometers to the border, a restriction that also saw to the closure of all fuel stations in his native home, Daura. Earlier in his remark, the representative of the chairman of Elders Forum, Alhaji Aliyu Salawa, drew a long list of requests which included a special intervention fund to assist victims of attacks, completion of the 10-megawatt wind power project in the state, setting up of a Northwest Development Commission, and setting up of Ruga Farm settlements, which he said were urgently needed. President Buhari promised to look at the request, adding that his constituency is the whole country and he is determined to be fair to all. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, has expressed concern over the planned implementation of the cashless policy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The association stated that the new policy, expected to kick off in 2020, will affect micro, small and medium enterprises, who are clearly the engine room for growth of the economy and employment generation. The Apex Bank, in a circular, directed deposit money banks, DMBS, to charge on deposits, in addition to already existing charges on withdrawal, 3% processing fee for individual accounts, withdrawals in excess of 500,000 naira, and 5% for corporate accounts withdrawal in excess of 3 million naira. It also introduced processing fee for cash lodgement of 2% above 500,000 for individual accounts and 3% for lodgement above 3 million naira for corporate accounts. In a signed statement by the Director General of MAN, Seyi Ajayi Kadir, other options should be adopted to the approach of the policy. He stressed that the policy was not presented to stakeholders for proper consultation, faulting the Apex Bank of insisting that the adoption is the only way to achieve the much desired cashless economy. Mr. Ajayi Kadir advised that the CBN should adopt other viable options to achieve the much needed cashless economy. He urged the leadership of the CBN to think through other available options to achieve its cashless policy. The Nigerian Stock Exchange has on Wednesday inducted 27 dealing clerks. The Chief Executive Officer, NSE, Mr. Oscar Onyenwa, while speaking at the induction ceremony, said out of 47 candidates who wrote the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers examination and went through the mandatory practical automated trading system training at the exchange. Only 27 candidates passed the oral examination. Formal entry of the new inductees into the market will bring the market many more successes.
Taliban suicide bombers targeted a key U.S. military base in Afghanistan Wednesday in a major attack that wounded more than 70 civilians. Officials said amid renewed peace talks between the United States and the militants. For more on foreign news, Afolayan Taye is here on standby. Taliban suicide bombers targeted a key U.S. military base in Afghanistan Wednesday in a major attack that wounded more than 70 civilians. Officials said amid renewed peace talks between the United States and the militants. The early morning assault began when a suicide bomber detonated his explosive packed vehicle outside a hospital building near Bagram military base in Parwan province, north of the capital Kabul, according to local officials. 7 more gunmen, some wearing suicide vests, are believed to have then entered the building, which was under construction and not operational, in order to use it as a launching pad for attack against the nearby U.S. base, local officials said. Almost 10 hours into the attack, an Afghan Interior Ministry spokesman said at least 3 militants were still holed up inside the hospital compound, fighting Afghan and foreign forces. At least 2 Afghan civilians, including 1 woman, were killed while 73 others were wounded in the explosion that damaged houses up to 300 meters yards away. A Taliban spokesman later claimed responsibility for the attack, claiming that tens of US and Afghan soldiers had been killed or wounded. In a WhatsApp message, Zabiullah Mujahid said the militants had detonated a truck bomb outside Bagram base, but denied Taliban fighters had taken up position inside the hospital. Afghan and US officials could not immediately confirm if a truck bomb had been used in the attack. It said there were no US or coalition casualties, but Georgia's defense ministry said 5 of its soldiers received minor injuries in the attack. The flashy governor of Nairobi on Monday pleaded not guilty to over 30 charges of money laundering, receiving bribes and conflict of interest in a court appearance held under tight security. Governor Mike, the latest top official to be held on corruption charges in Kenya, is accused of having benefited from irregular procurement and payment of $3.5 million. He pleaded not guilty to all the charges when he was arraigned before anti-corruption court magistrate Douglas Okoti in a packed court secured by anti-riot police. State prosecutors also read out details from Sonko's bank accounts and several dates on which money was wired in from contractors who had won tenders at the county. Sonko spent the weekend in jail after his dramatic arrest in Southern Voi saw him scuffle with police before being bundled in a helicopter and flown to Nairobi. It was seen as a maverick move when, in 2017, the ruling party chose him as its candidate for Nairobi's gubernatorial poll. He was a controversial politician who has spent time in jail for failing to respect court dates and has had to deny allegations of illegal activities, including drug trafficking. He is beloved by poor Kenyans for running his personally branded fire trucks and ambulances to assist people living in the slums. He is also known for his style mimicking an American rapper, dripping with expensive gold and diamond jewelry, and on occasion golden shoes. He recently drew criticism for displaying his opulent dining room on social media. Up next is sport. FIFA is to take legal action by the end of the year to force Michael Platini to return $2 million he received illegally during Sepp Blatter's reign at World Football's governing body, according to a document seen on Wednesday. For details and more on sport news, let's join Afolayan Kolawole.
FIFA is to take legal action by the end of the year to force Michael Platini to return $2 million they received illegally during Sepp Blatter's reign at the World Football's governing body, according to a document seen on Wednesday. FIFA banned Platini, its then vice president, in 2015 over the payment. It said in the document seen by AFP, it would take action to recover the money legally paid by the former president of FIFA to the former vice president of FIFA. The document explained that FIFA also plans to target Blatter and that, under Swiss law, FIFA has until December 31 to file a claim in court. FIFA said it planned to sue Blatter at the same time, and it will be seeking interest at the appropriate rate and discipline fines and costs, both ordered but not paid. Blatter authorized the payment in 2011. The Swiss authorities started investigating in 2015. FIFA's ethics investigators branded the payment disloyal and banned Platini for 6 years. The Frenchman appealed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, which reduced his suspension to 4 years, but said that it was not convinced by the legitimacy of the payment, which was only recognized by Mr. Platini and Mr. Blatter. Platini has always maintained the money was a legitimate payment and he did nothing wrong. FIFA said in the document that undue payment had no basis in the law, and the fact that has been established in various courts and tribunals up to the level of the Swiss Supreme Court. Gennaro Gattuso has taken over as coach of Napoli after Carlo Ancelotti was sacked despite guiding them to Champions League knockout stage. Gattuso, who left AC Milan at the end of last season after failing to qualify for the Champions League, takes charge of a club who sits 7th in the Serie A. The 41-year-old replaces a friend in Ancelotti, who coached Gattuso to 2 Champions League trophies and 1 Serie A title at AC Milan. Media reports in UK suggest both Arsenal and Everton are keen to hire Ancelotti, who has won 3 Champions League as a coach. Anthony Joshua on Saturday defeated Andy Ruiz at the Darija Arena, Saudi Arabia, to reclaim his IBF, WBA and WBO titles. Recall that Joshua lost the titles to Ruiz in an unbelievable June defeat in New York. Joshua won the rematch on points after dragging it to the maximum 12th round. The victory has put Joshua in the class of greats such as Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield on the list of heavyweights to reclaim world titles. Meanwhile, Joshua had said earlier before the rematch that he won't celebrate his victory, saying he would only focus on how to build on his career.
That's it on 487 News, but before we go, a quick look at our highlights. President Buhari condemns terrorist killing of 67 soldiers in Niger. Court sacks Oni's second-in-command, orders replacements. Electricity workers suspend nationwide strike. Paying minimum wage means respecting our laws, NLC tells governors. And that ends 487 News. Thanks for watching. Good morning.